Well, good evening. Welcome to Thursday evening devotions of the United Methodist Church at Grover Hill Zion United Methodist Church, where we've been doing Thursday evening devotions now for many months now. For many months we've been talking about the story behind some of the great hymns of the church and why they're so meaningful to us and have a special place in our hearts. Tonight's hymn is no different. It's a great hymn. It's a wonderful hymn. When I was growing up, even as kids, we liked to sing this hymn. And it was very popular, as I recall, in the church when I was just a child even. Adults like to sing it. Oh, it's so popular. It's titled Church in the Wildwood. Perhaps you can remember it. It's been around for a very long time. Off and on, it'll be sang for a while, and then people will forget about it, and then it becomes popular again, and that's the way it is. It reminds us that we have special places in our hearts, in our minds. Sometimes we dream of special places that we have, that where we've come together to bond with family or friends or loved ones, or perhaps it's just in a special place that we conjure up in our minds that we have where we just get in touch with God, where we just feel a little closer to God even. Special places, special places. Well, the Church in the Wildwood was written by William F. Pitts in 1857. He was a young music teacher, and as a result of his visit to Bradford, Iowa, Pitts was on a stagecoach that stopped at this town of Bradford, Iowa. And when it made a stop, it gave him an opportunity to get out and walk around through the woods just to see what the area was like. Oh, isn't that a special place? Is there special little parks? You know, there are places around that I like to go and stop that are just quiet. Maybe they might have a little stream in it. Maybe they're wooded, maybe they're not, but they're just special places where you can just sit back and relax and clear your mind of everything. And that's the way it is. Pitts found with this little spot that he came across. During a trip to his fiancée in Fredericksburg, Iowa, the stagecoach stopped here at this Bradford, and it allowed him to wander through the woods, or wander through the woodlands. And he just happened upon a particular beautiful spot in the valley close to the Cedar River. And an image formed in his mind of a church building standing at that location. Now, there wasn't any building there at the moment, but he envisioned a church there. Well, after his visit here, he returned to his home back in Wisconsin. But yet he was unable to forget that scene and that image that had formed in his mind. So Pitt sat down and he wrote a poem, and he later set the poem to music. And when he finished his composition, he said, only then, when I finished that poem, was I at peace with myself. I just had that vision in my mind. I just couldn't get it out. When Pitts returned to the area with his wife in 1862, he discovered a church being erected there, right there in the spot where he had imagined a church to be standing. The church members had been meeting in a variety of temporary rooms until the Reverend J.K. Nutting led a drive to create a permanent home for the congregation. Providentially, the very plot where Pitts imagined a church would stand was donated by the family that owned it. And soon a church building was erected on that exact spot. Not only that, the church was being painted brown, the color mentioned in the song that Pitts wrote. Now, he couldn't have seen a brown church there because it wasn't built yet, but now it was brown, now it was being built. Well, at that time, Ohio mineral paints, brown paint was the cheapest paint to be found, and so that's the paint they used, the brown paint that they used. During the winter of 1863 and 64, Pitts taught a singing class at Bradford Academy. He resurrected the song there and tutored his class to sing the song at the dedication of the new church in 1864. This was the first time the song was sung by anyone other than Pitts himself. In 1865, Pitts moved to Chicago, Illinois to enroll at Rush Medical College to pay for his enrollment fees. He sold the rights to the song to a music publisher for $25. He completed medical school in 1868, but the song was forgotten once again. After the church closed, that little brown church closed in 1888 due to an economic downturn, the Society for the Prevention of the Little Brown Church was founded. In the 1890s, then, the evangelist Arthur Chapman and Charles Alexander helped to popularize the song once again. By 1914, services were again held in the Little Brown Church, and shortly afterward, the small congregation experienced a revival that attracted new attention to it and to the song Church in the Wildwood. Among those who found and loved the song at the time was the Weatherwax Brothers Quartet. This group of traveling singers journeyed throughout Canada and the United States in the 1920s and 30s, and they used Church in the Wildwood as their trademark song. The song grew in popularity. The church has become a popular tourist attraction, and it remains so to this day. It attracts thousands of visitors every year to see or to be married in the Little Brown Church in the Vale. Well, this song has been sung even in more modern times by a number of artists, including Dolly Parton, Charlie Pride. Of course, Charlie Pride sang that many years ago. It was a very popular song when he sang it. What you can hear in the background are the Gaithers singing the song. And it goes through streets. One time it gets forgotten about, and then when people hear it, they resurrect the song, and it begins popular all over again. So I hope you have a vision in your mind of someplace that'll be near and dear to your heart, where you can bond with your family or friends, or where you can reconcile and bond with God, and just be in His presence and have peace. If you can't make out the words, let me just share with you the first verse of it, and then I'll close this. There's a church in the valley by the Wildwood, no lovelier spot in the dale. No place is so dear to my childhood as the Little Brown Church in the Vale. Come to the church in the Wildwood, oh come to the church in the dale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the Little Brown Church in the Vale. Well, I hope you have a great and blessed week.